So yesterday over my Instagram I posted the following post in which I discussed over why I am not using Firebase anymore. Now Firebase is awesome. Firebase is very good if you are a beginner in Flutter. It gives you the idea of what is database, of what is storage, of what is authentication and all that big stuff. But you know what? This is not how the real world works. In real world you need to pay attention over a custom backend. So in this video I want to give you an overview over how custom backend looks with your Flutter web and mobile application. So first thing first, before jumping right into the custom backend, make sure you know Dart. Now you should be knowing Dart over what are classes, what is abstractions, what are if-else, that is all the loops and all the basic syntax. And if you know all of the following syntax, we are good to go. And once we have learned what is Dart, you should be knowing what is Flutter. Now you should not be knowing only the UI side of Flutter, but you should be knowing over what is state management, what is navigation, what are routing, what are the basic API concepts behind the UI framework and etc. Now considering that you are at the intermediate level over building mobile application with Flutter, you are all ready to set to go with custom backend. The next thing that you need to learn is about a backend language. Now under the case of backend language, as per my experience, you should be either choosing Python or JavaScript. Now don't go with PHP, it is completely outdated. Now under the case of JavaScript, you should be knowing the basic syntax of JavaScript, what are the promises, what are the methods, what are the functions and all that stuff. And once you have learned JavaScript, make sure you jump over to TypeScript. Now let me mention that TypeScript is no longer different than JavaScript. That is, it is a superset of JavaScript. So first of all, you should be jumping over JavaScript. You should be learning all the fundamentals of JavaScript, and after that you should be moving over TypeScript. But if you don't know JavaScript, you should be learning Python for building backend. Now I would recommend you for using JavaScript as a backend language, because most of the times for building your websites or web applications with the help of Flutter, JavaScript comes more handy than Python. But no matter what, if you love Python, just go with it. Once you know what is Python, that is all the fundamentals of Python, you should be choosing the next framework that you should be using for building backend. Now as per the frameworks, Node.js is not a framework but simply a runtime built for Chrome V8 JavaScript engine. Node.js gives you option for running JavaScript over your browser. So if you are into JavaScript, you need to learn what is Node.js and how to use Node.js in our applications. And if you are new to Node.js, I recommend you to watch the following series with the help of my channel, obviously. So under my channel I have posted the following series which gives you complete explanation over what is Node.js, what is Express and all that stuff. So if you are into Node.js, kindly watch this series. And if you don't love Node.js, you should be going with Django. Now Django is the big brother of Flask. You should be either choosing between Flask or Django. But most of the times you need to learn what is Django if you are going for bigger interviews or for bigger internships. So under choosing your framework for backend, you should be either be going with Node.js or Django accordingly. Once you have learned what is backend framework, you should be moving next to what is database. Now under the case of database, you will be having options of SQL or NoSQL. Now the complete dependency of what to choose depends on your use case. Now many companies shall be using SQL databases, many you should be using NoSQL databases. Now let me tell you, companies generally focus over to the application on which they are based. If any application of the company is dependent on user and the user shall be containing various relations, that is his comments, his post, his liked pictures and all that stuff, and in that case company will be using SQL database because they will be getting the relation between all the relations, that is all the database of the user. But in the case if company won't be preferring of SQL databases, they would be going with NoSQL databases. Now under the case of NoSQL databases, you will be getting the options of MongoDB, which I generally prefer for everyone who asks me. Now I have been using MongoDB for a long term and I am absolutely sure that you are gonna be loving it if you are under a case of NoSQL database. Now the another alternative of NoSQL database is Cassandra. Cassandra is awesome. It is similar to MongoDB, but I guess it is slower than MongoDB. The querying options under Cassandra are lesser available than MongoDB. And after Cassandra, you should be also taking a look over DynamoDB, which is hosted over AWS. And for having the following DynamoDB database, you need to have an AWS account, which is obvious. Still, I just want to tell you for a further kind information. So you should be knowing what is DynamoDB, what is Cassandra, and what is MongoDB if you are under a NoSQL database for a custom backend. And under case of custom backend for NoSQL database, I recommend you using MongoDB as your primary database. In any case, if you are under a SQL database, that is if you want to go with SQL databases, PostgreSQL is the best. If you are under SQL databases, that is if you want to use SQL under your database queries, Postgres is awesome for you. Now Postgres is open source, it has a bigger community, it has various query options that you won't be getting in Firebase, that is in Firestore or real-time database. So under the case of SQL databases, you should be going with PostgreSQL, and under the case of NoSQL databases, you should be going with MongoDB as per my recommendation. And once you have chosen your database between Postgres or MongoDB, the next thing that you need to consider is about storage. Now under storage options, I recommend you using S3, that is Amazon S3, SugarSync, Dropbox accordingly. Now the cheapest among all of them is the following SugarSync, which gives you the following option of $7.5 or 100 GB per month. There are mostly more options available over $10 or $19 accordingly, but for smaller applications 100 GB will be enough. So for storage options rather than Firebase storage, SugarSync is awesome. If you don't love SugarSync, Dropbox is all okay for you. Under the case of Dropbox, under pricing options, you will be getting a basic option which will be free, but it will be only getting 2 GB of data for your entire project. Moving on forward, under a plus option, you need to pay $10 per month, where you will be getting 2 TB, that is 2000 GB of encrypted storage. And if you are under a big business, the following option of family is awesome for you. So under a case of storage, you should be using SugarSync, S3 or Dropbox accordingly. And once you have chosen what you need to use for your storage options, the next thing that we need to consider is about hosting. That is, you need to either host your complete website, complete application or complete database on web. And for hosting them, I recommend you using Heroku. I am personally using Heroku for a while, and I am 100% sure that you will be loving Heroku as much that I did. Heroku gives you an option of hosting your database, that is if you are using Postgres, Heroku gives an option of add-on of Postgres which is absolutely free. You can host your entire database on Heroku, which will be absolutely of no cost, and it will be all fast reliant, it will be having faster query and all the other options that Postgres shall be giving to you. After having the following Postgres, the next option that is available under hosting is Netlify. Netlify is cheap, Netlify is fast, and Netlify is modern. That is, you can host your PWAs, your web apps or your mobile applications on Netlify accordingly. After having the following option of Netlify, the last option that I recommend you for hosting your entire application is Vercel. And personally, I haven't deployed much options over Vercel, but if you want a primary source of having a default data rate, that is a faster refresh rate, flexible patching and edge of localhost, you should be using Vercel. But according to my recommendation, I give you an option of Heroku for hosting your database, for hosting your web applications accordingly. And once you have got the following option of your hosting your entire website on Heroku, the next option is about in-app messaging. Now Firebase gives you an option of in-app messaging, which gives you the functions of sending notifications, sending messages between applications accordingly. And for sending those, I recommend you using Twilio or Twilio according to your accent. Now Twilio gives you an REST API, which is awesome for you for sending messages to your clients from server accordingly. So after watching the following option of sending in-app messaging with the help of Twilio, the next thing is about authentication. Firebase gives you an option of authentication, which is its primary authentication. But instead of Firebase authentication, you can also go with Auth0. Now Auth0 is awesome. I also have been using Auth0 for a while for making my web applications with it. Now if you check the following pricing of Auth0, it gives you a free plan where you will be getting the following 7,000 active users without unlimited logins. And we won't be requiring credit cards for creating this free account. You can also have some complex cases accordingly. And if you check here, if I will be having monthly active users to be 1000, I will be having the following plan of $23 per month. If I move forward and if I have 205, that is 2500 users, I will be getting an option of $57 per month accordingly. And after taking a look over authentication option, I want to introduce you about MailChimp. MailChimp is awesome if you need to send custom emails and your entire application. MailChimp is absolutely free for a month, and rather than it has some pricing that you can check, I will be giving the following link of their website under description box. You need to check them out. The next option is about using a proper API. And under my case of API, I have been using Google Cloud for all my stuff. And under my applications, for having my Google Maps, for having my YouTube API, for having my Gmail API, I have been using Google Cloud, that is GCP. Now Google Cloud is paid, you need to check the pricing of it and move over to it according to you. So these are all of my options available for you instead of Firebase that you should be using rather than Firebase. Now for a recap, first of all, you need to learn what is Dart, you need to master Flutter, you need to go with either JavaScript or Python. After that, you need to choose a backend framework. Under the case of backend framework, you should be either choosing the runtime environment of Node.js or Django. Once you have chosen your backend framework, the next thing that we gotta look over is about database. Under the case of database, if you want a NoSQL database, MongoDB is my recommendation. If you want a SQL database, go with Postgres. Under case of storage options, SugarSync is my primary options, and the second option that I recommend you is Amazon S3. In the case of hosting, Heroku is best, which comes with database hosting. You can also go with Netlify or Vercel according to your budget. After that, for sending in-app messaging, Twilio API is awesome. And under the case of authentication, Auth0 is totally fine. Auth0 comes with flexible pricing range that you can go accordingly. And after that, for sending mails and for sending some business things, MailChimp is awesome. That is, it is one of the awesome integration that you should be considering. And after that, for using various SDKs of Google Maps, YouTube API, Gmail API, Google Drive and all that stuff, GCP is your option. Now these are my total resources that you should be considering for learning with the help of Firebase. Now let me tell you that I am not totally aware. Now let me tell you that I am not totally be opposing to Firebase, but I just want to give you guys a complete overlook over what are other resources that you should be using instead of Firebase. Now I hope you have loved this video. Now comment down below over what tutorials you need over to the following resources that I have shown you. Also, if you are not following me or my Instagram, follow me there, and I will see you in the next one.